Good day, everyone. My name is Caden, and I would like to welcome you to, I'd say, the most important video I've ever made as of today. All right, why is it important? It's important because today we're going to discuss your net worth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and be practical. I spent time putting this video together, and I hope it's going to do what I intended to do. All right, so let's get started. Now, there is this thing of net worth, or us saying who is the wealthiest person, or us saying who's the richest. Now, if we look at today's figures, we'll say Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. But what makes us say that? Or why is it that Forbes says Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world as of today? Well, it turns out Forbes is responsible for it's one of the things they do is that they track wealth for billionaires, for millionaires, for celebrities, and things like that. So they come up with this list. So obviously the billionaires are the richest. We don't have a trillionaire. And so as of today, Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. His net worth is $190 billion. And he's followed by Elon Musk, and his net worth is $189 billion. So there is just a small difference there. It's actually 89.6, which means the difference is just a couple of millions. And then we have the rest. You can see number 3 to 8. And Warren Buffett dropped. He's mostly around number 3, somewhere there. But I would say it's partly because of his response to to the stock market crash of 2020. He had a lot of cash which he didn't make use of. I don't know if he's regretting or what, but whatever. Now look, I think this is the first year we've ever had 5 people above 100 billion US dollars. That is insane. But anyways, this video is not mainly about the richest people in the world. It's about your personal net worth. So what I'm going to do in this video is that I'm going to walk you through and share some ideas, and I'll put a net worth table or whatever you want to call it. And my suggestion is drop your own net worth and see how much it is that you are worth as of today. The reason I give that advice is when I did this, well, for me, I did it after reading Secrets of Millionaire Minds by T. Harv Eker. It really inspired me to drop my own net worth. So some of you are not going to read the book, but if you don't read the book, I think the biggest thing I learned in that book, of course, there are many lessons in the book, but one of the biggest lessons was how to, calculate your own net worth. So I started calculating mine at that time, and it was so terrible. But the good thing was I knew where I stood, so I could do something about it. I could change. So what I want you to do is also to be aware, and to not judge people by what we see, because sometimes it's what we don't see. If we're to look at a person like Warren Buffett here, those of you who know Warren Buffett know that he's down to earth. He is not flashy. One of the things that everyone talks about is his house. He bought this house like years back. I can't remember exactly when, but it's a long time ago. And they say he bought it for $33,000, and he still stays in that house. And one of the videos I watched about him, he was like, "I'm warm in the winter and I'm cool in the summer. What else do I need?" I'm like, wow. If we had look at his money here, $86 billion. That's a lot of money. This is his net worth. Well, it went down by 1.2 billion today. Things have been bad. This is today's numbers. All right. So if someone was to judge Warren Buffett by the car he drives, by the food he eats, because he says he goes to McDonald's drive through and he buys with coins or like, it's so insane. If someone was to judge Warren by how he looks and the car he drives, the house he lives in, they would think he's not as wealthy as he is. Anyway, let me not waste time. So what I did is I came up, I'm using my sons here. I hope, because their names are, they rhyme. So I hope it's not going to confuse you. All right, so we have Caden, we have Jaden, and we have Aiden. Caden is my firstborn, Jaden is my secondborn, and Aiden is my lastborn. So let's look at these three gentlemen here. I want to work with the assumption that they work for the same company. They graduated round about the same time. They got the jobs round about the same time. And so, their work experience is more or less the same. But the only and one other thing I want to point out is they have a good job. They have good jobs, ne? So they are making a lot of money, but the decisions they make with their money is what is the difference here. So let's have a look. Let's see how these gentlemen spend their money. So I'll start off with Caden. Well, Caden, his personality, he wants to, impress, people. He wants people to think that, yes, Caden is here. So he drives a car worth 2.5 million. And he stays in a house worth almost 4 million rands. Okay, so if you look at Caden's house and Caden's car, you are going to come to the conclusion that this guy is wealthy. Let's look at Jaden. Well, Jaden stays in a township. His house is worth 780,000, but he drives a nice car. So he has this Benz for 739,000. Okay, then let's look at Aiden. Aiden owns an apartment in Sunnyside. Okay, so let's say Caden stays in Pretoria East, Jaden stays in Mamelodi, and Aiden stays in Sunnyside. So Aiden has an apartment in Sunnyside, which is, I think it's we'll see later, but I think it's a 3-bedroomed apartment. But the thing with Aiden is that he's not staying alone. He's renting out the other 2 rooms, and he's staying in one of the rooms. Jaden stays the whole house by himself, and Caden does the same, him and his family, something like that, right? Okay, then the other thing with their cars, Aiden, instead of him buying one nice car, which is expensive, he has 3 cars that are worth 518,000. So one is around 170,000. Okay, so what he does is he drives the one in the middle, and he's renting out the other 2 for Uber or Bolt. Okay, then so Jaden drives his Mercedes Benz, and what is it? Caden drives his Porsche. All right, so let's see. We're going to analyze Caden first. So this is Caden's house. Okay, you saw the front, but yes, as you can see, it has a swimming pool, and the house is a 4-bedroomed house with 4 bathrooms and 4-car garage, and that's the size, 852 square meters. That's big. So his house is worth 3.9 million, or let's just round it off, 4 million. But now we want to see how much does Caden pay on a monthly basis. All right, Caden is paying 30,000 for his house. So like I said, they have nice jobs, because if he can afford 30,000 a month, then this guy is earning a lot of money, right? So he's paying 30,000 for his house, But now the question is, we want to know, when he bought this house for 3.9 million, how much is it that is going to pay over 20 years? Because he's paying 30,000, he's paying for the loan. So to be honest, this house does not really belong to Caden, it belongs to the bank, because the bank buys the house from whoever is selling the house, and the agreement is Caden is going to pay for the house in monthly installments, and the bank is going to make more money because they are going to charge interest. There is something I'm leaving out there, something I left out when I did my calculations. Look here. Wait. Yes, I forgot to include this figure here, 358,000. Okay, so to whatever figure that you'll see, he also has to pay 300,000 a once-off cost. It's transfer costs and whatnot. There are so many things that you pay for there. All right, so let's make our calculation. So he's going to pay 30,000 for 12 months over 20 years. So in a month, if you want, it's just 30,000 in a year, 30,624 times 12, whatever it is that you get, multiply that by 20 years. So all in all, just him signing that he's agreeing to the terms, on top of this 7.3 million, he has to also pay 300,000 for some transfer costs and whatnot. But yes, he lives comfortably and so on. Okay, let's not finish there. Let's move on to his car. So going on to Caden's car, as we can see, look at the interior. It's very beautiful. The car costs 2.4 million, but he's not paying this car cash. As you can see here, he's going to pay 46,000 per month. For how long? For 72 months. Because for a car, you're not going to pay, for 20 years. Now, look at the monthly payment. It's more than his house. So this car is costing Caden more than his house. If you were to ask yourself, is it really worth it? Maybe. But anyway, he has 30,000 and 46,000 just for, monthly installments. I wonder what he has left after paying this. So these guys are earning, say, more than 100,000. Okay. But then Caden decides to be flashy. All right, so he's going to pay at an interest rate of 10% per annum, and he's going to make 72 payments, and he's paying 46,574 per month. All right, so let's make the calculation and see this car for 2.5 million. How much is it? How much is he going to pay? And obviously, by the end of 72 months, this car won't be worth 2 million. It will have depreciated. But the question is, how much will he have paid for the car? So this gentleman is going to pay, all in all, up until he's done with the car loan, 3.3 million. And you know what's going to happen? The catch is, he's going to trade this car in for the 2021 model. And in 2022, he's going to trade it in for. So, he's going to be paying this 46,000 or even more over time. And I don't know when this cycle is going to end. But maybe he has money, he can afford it. So 3 million, that's the total payment over 72 months. Let's move on to the next gentleman. We're going to look at Jaden now. So Jaden buys this house in Mamelodi East. As you can see, it's a 3-bedroomed house with 2 bathrooms, and it is 272 square meters. And we are curious to know, how much does Jaden pay per month? Well, it's not too bad. He's paying 6,000 rands per month. So considering his salary, because I said they earn round about the same, right? So if Caden can afford those figures, then obviously Jaden has a lot of money left after paying for this. Well, you might say maybe this doesn't make sense. Someone who earns that much, well, I'm just making this up. Okay, let's say let me rephrase here for things to make sense. Well, these guys, they don't earn the same amount. Okay, so 6,000 is actually a stretch for Jaden as well. Wow, let's put it there. Okay, so this is Jaden's house. He's paying 6,000, but what we want to know is how much is it that he's going to pay at the end of the day? Well, over 20 years, he will have paid 1.4 million for a house that is worth 780,000. Okay, not bad for a house, I guess, because we know that in most cases property appreciates over time, but it's not like 100% guaranteed. But a car will depreciate one way or the other. I don't. Okay, fine. You will see those other cars that become vintage and people sell them for ridiculous amounts because now it's rare. But that's not the average thing. The average thing is every car is going to depreciate, and when it's sold later on, it's going to earn less money for the seller. Okay, so 780,000, but it turns out to become 1.4 million. Right, let's move on to his car. So he's driving this Mercedes-Benz C-Class, and 739,900, that is the total cost for the car. He's going to pay 13,968 rand per month. Well, let's see how much it is over time. Well, so it's the same interest rate of 10%. It's the same period of 72 months. But how much does it amount to? So it amounts to 1,05,696 rands. Okay, so it goes up by roughly 300,000. Maybe not bad. And also the 13,000, not too bad, I guess. For someone who earns what? Let's say 35,000. I don't know. So whatever it is that he has left, he pays for the house, then buy some groceries and just, buy some alcohol and just have fun, right? So that's Jaden for you. Let's move on to Aiden. So Aiden, like I said before, it's a 3-bedroom apartment in Sunnyside, as you can see there. It's quite small. Look at it, 92 square meters. Wow. And it has 1.5 bathroom, and he only has 1 carport. Anyway, he has 3 cars. The other 2, they don't stay with him, so no problem, right? And he's renting out the other 2 bedrooms. Yes. And then let's find out how much he pays per month. So he's paying 3,721 per month. So after this whole period, he will have spent 893,000. So for a house which is 480, it's almost double that. Okay, that's it. Let's move on to his cars. Well, good thing is, okay, fine. So Aiden has 3 cars. So we want to know how much does he pay per month. Well, the good thing with Aiden is that he pays nothing. Why? Because Aiden bought these cars cash. Well, he found a way to not spend as much. You see his idea. Look where he stays. He's renting out the other 2 bedrooms because he sees no use, for him to have a whole house. Well, he's comfortable with 1 bedroom. He's probably not married, so all he cares about is to build a legacy. For one day when he gets married and he has children, he wants those children to be able to inherit something. So Aiden reads books and so on, and he understands net worth. So he's mainly worried about building an empire. So let's see how he does it. Well, so we see this one. So this car is bringing in cash. The other one is bringing in cash. So it's a good thing, right? And like I said, each car is worth 172,000, somewhere there. So if you put them together, they are worth less than Jaden's car. They are worth way less than Caden's car. When we see Aiden is driving a Toyota, and Jaden arrives, he's driving a Mercedes-Benz, and then Caden arrives. When we see this gentleman, who is the richest? Obviously, Caden is the richest. Wow. It's good to be Caden, right? Well, let's. This is the thing I was talking about. So I want you to see something here. Okay, so let's just assume that we're starting here, right? These guys have these amounts in their banks. Okay, Aiden has more money than the other guys. Fine. Maybe the reason is he just got paid for the guys who rent his cars and whatnot and whatnot. Let's just say cash at hand. These are the figures. Bonds, these other guys don't know anything about bonds, term deposits, and all that. So they have nothing. So many people do not have anything here. So do yourself a favor. If you are doing this, make sure you put a 0 there if you don't have any bonds, any retail savings bonds, whatever, put a 0 there. Right, money owed to you. Okay, let's just say they owe Caden 2,000, they owe Jaden 1,000, they owe Aiden 10,000. Because Aiden always has cash, so people would probably ask for money. Then he says, okay, you can have it, but give it back with interest, or maybe it's just family or something. He just says, okay, just give it the way it is. But people owe him 10,000. Then let's just assume they all have nothing there. Now, these other two gentlemen, Caden and Jaden, know nothing about mutual funds. So obviously they don't invest in that because they don't even know what mutual funds are. But Aiden reads books and so on. He's always researching about, the best mutual funds, at maybe Old Mutual or whatever, any fund manager or Coronation, anything. So he has mutual funds which are worth 100,000. He has reasons for investing in mutual funds. He probably wants that safety. Okay, then he also invests in shares. So he has a portfolio that he personally manages, which is worth 1.2 million rands. And when it comes to real estate investment, none of them have anything. Then we go to business. Aiden, we can say his Uber or Taxify business is worth 50,000. Let's say if he was to sell the profiles, let's say the business is worth 50,000, right? Then the next thing is other. None of them has any other marketable assets. Then we go to registered retirement savings plan. Well, I had given the same figure because my initial assumption was, let's just say these guys work together. So let's say this thing, they have it from work and something like that. So it's the same amount. That was my mentality, but let's leave it there like that. Then cash value of life insurance. The other guys don't see the importance, but Aiden sees the importance. So he has a life insurance policy of worth 1.2 million. Then we have pension plan. I just gave them the same because I was working with that assumption. Then offshore, this is anything outside our borders. So Aiden has an IQ option account where he's buying American stocks, let's just say, and his portfolio is just worth 20,000 because he doesn't want to put a lot of money outside the country because maybe he doesn't really understand their economy. But just in case it blows up, yes, he has money invested in that. Then personal residence. We saw these guys' houses, right? Caden's house is worth 3.9 million. Jaden is worth 700 and Aiden. But you are wondering, why is it that then we are putting these houses under assets if initially I said these houses are owned by the banks? Well, let me give an example. Let's say I go to Cell C, they give me an iPhone, let's say, for instance, right? So that becomes my iPhone. But the truth is, yes, Cell C still owns it. So that's why I'm paying them every month. If I decide to sell this iPhone, I'm going to do it. But Cell C will still need their monthly payment, right? Their monthly installment, something like that. So let's say my iPhone is worth 4,000. Oh, okay, 4 is too low. Let's say 10,000. Okay, so I can sell this for 10,000, but I'm still owing Cell C maybe 15,000 because part of it is the interest, right? So yes, I'll get 10,000 and do something with that, but I'm still owing 15,000. So what does this cell phone do to me? Well, Me owing 15,000 means, okay, that's my liability, 15,000. And then me owning something that is worth 10,000. So I'll say my asset, 10,000, minus my liability, 15. So this iPhone alone is bringing down my net worth by 5,000. So my net worth, if all I had was an iPhone, my net worth would be negative 5,000. So that's why we are putting the personal residence there, because they can sell this house, but they still have to be able to. Okay, let's say this guy, he sells the house for 3.9 million. Yeah, then he pays the bank 3.9 million cash because he got it from selling the house, right? But he's still owing the bank. You see? All right, let me not waste time there. Then recreational equipment, let's say, yeah, you see, Caden has a big house, so he probably has more recreational equipment. Maybe he has some a mini gym at his house. So his recreational equipment is worth 20,000, and for Jaden it's 15. For Aiden it's 12,000. Then we go to their vehicles. Remember, Caden has the dopest vehicle, 2.5 million rands, and Jaden's car is beautiful, and it's 739,000. Aiden, on the other hand, his cars are worth less than these other two gentlemen, but remember, he has three. Two of them are bringing in money, so those are assets. And also himself, when he's not working, he uses his car for Bolt. He's also making extra money during the weekend, like I do, because I also do it. I don't know, if I get time, I'll show you my Uber figures. I should have thought about it before I did the video. Then I was going to just edit. Well, then the furniture, of course, Caden has a bigger house, so his furniture is worth, say, 120,000, Jaden 60,000, and Aiden 55,000. Yeah, then collectibles, arts, things like that. So 30, 12, and 10. And then other, let's just assume they have nothing. So let's look at total assets. Who has the most assets? Okay, well, Caden, number 1, Aiden, number 2, Jaden, number 3. So does it mean Caden is the richest on the list? Well, to answer the question, if we go back to who's the richest man in the world, we were not talking about their assets. We were talking about their net worth. So how do we get this thing called net worth? We say assets minus liabilities. So for now we know assets, so there is a missing link here, which is liabilities. So let's go on to find out what their liabilities are. Well, the first thing is credit cards. Obviously, Caden understands this language. He sometimes pays for his car using his credit card, let's say, yeah. And so, yeah, that's what happens with him. And Jaden, 15,000, and then this guy says, nope. Whenever the bank calls and say, we have a good deal, what he says, no, I'm fine. I don't want a credit card. Then overdraft facility. You know what this is. This is when your account is at zero. And then if you have an overdraft facility, let's say of, let's look at this guy here, 40K. This means that when Caden opens his banking app and he sees that he has 1 rand in his account, he can go out and buy an iPhone. But how is it that he's going to buy an iPhone when he has 1 rand? Because his bank will allow him to swipe his debit card for something as long as it doesn't go beyond 40,000. So he can go to -4. So when he checks his bank balance, you can see he has -2,000. When he sees this -2,000, he'll tell himself that, I have 38,000. But the truth, so it's more like credit cards, but yeah, it's called an overdraft. So you can go in negative. So in terms of Caden, yes, he has this 40,000. He's not scared of, well, anyway, for him to be able to maintain his lifestyle, he needs something like this, I guess. And Jaden is a bit scared, so his is 5,000, but he wants it. And this guy always says no to such things. They say, the bank calls him and say, we see you have a good bank balance and so on. Would like to offer you an overdraft facility. This is when he says, no, I know what it is, but I'm fine. He always turns it down. Okay, then when it comes to loan, okay, the main thing is the car loan. Wow, look at this guy. 3.3 million. Remember, we made this calculation, right? So 3 million is a lot. And so that's what he's owing on his car. And then for Jaden is 1 million. This guy has 3 cars. He bought all of them cash. So he doesn't have to worry about car loan repayment per month. So that's why this guy is paying 46,000 per month. That's why this guy is paying 13,000 rand per month, because he doesn't own the car. This guy pays nothing because they're all his cars. I like Aiden here. I like his philosophy. I like his ideas. Well, I'm just like him in a way, because all my cars, I bought them cash. Right, moving on to unpaid bills. Well, let's just say 23,000, 4.8, 3,000. Let's just assume. I just came up with these numbers. Well, then income tax, property, let's say 15, 3, and 0. Then other, which is like charitable pledges. Let's say you pledge the church, you have a family obligation to do this. We come from different families, so in some cases you may have a family obligation, something that you really have to do in your family. And for me, when I did my personal net worth, when it came to this part, the figure I put there was what do you call this? Lobola. Like, I looked at how much is it that I haven't paid. Like, okay, this is what they charged me for lobola, and this is what I paid. So how much am I still owing? So I took it like, oh yeah, it's family obligation, because I have the obligation to do it. Like, I have to do it, something like that. So it's a liability, right? So here are the figures: 20,000, 15, and 10. Then last but not least, long-term debt. So now we're coming to their houses now. Remember, I told you, I gave the iPhone example. Like, my iPhone, I can sell it, something like that. So it is an asset, 10,000. But I'm owing 15,000 for the iPhone. That's the idea. So same applies. Remember, Caden's house, it's worth how much? 2.9 million. Is it? No, 3.950, yeah. But he's owing how much? 7 million. Jaden's house is worth 780 somewhere there, but he's owing how much? 1.4. Aiden's house, and if we look at Aiden, he's probably not going to pay a cent on this, because remember, okay, let's be honest. Do you know how much a room is in Sunnyside? It's 2,500. And so this guy has a 3-bedroomed apartment, and he has tenants, and turns out these tenants are paying him 5,000. Remember how much the bank wants from him? It was 3,000. Let's just put the most, 3,900. Do you see that he's actually making a profit from having the house? So this guy, he's not going to pay a cent for his house. These 2 tenants are going to buy the house for him. He's making money from other avenues and so on, and he's paying 0 rent. He's actually benefiting from staying in his house. So he's not the one who's buying this house. So this guy is so clever. So when we look at his liabilities, it's more like he doesn't have them to begin with. Well, who's number 1 on liabilities? You would expect Caden to be. Who's number 2? Jaden is. Who's number 3? Aiden is. But in terms of net worth, Caden's net worth is negative. Don't miss this negative. Jaden's is negative. Aiden is the only one with a positive net worth. So to conclude, obviously my question is, who's the 3rd richest here? Well, we all know the answer to this. Caden is the third richest man on this list. He's number 3. Why? Because his net worth is negative 3.8 million rands. So he's the poorest guy on this list. But what do we think when we see Caden? We think he's got his things figured out, right? We think Caden is the richest on the list. When Aiden is there already, and then people are thinking, yeah, Aiden is the boss, Aiden. Then Caden arrives, everyone will think, oh, the real boss is here now. But is it true? When it comes to the bottom line, who is the richest man in the world? We say it's Jeff Bezos, according to Forbes. But why does Forbes say he is? Because his net worth. Not because his cars, not because his houses, not because of any of that. But it's because of what? It's because of his net worth. So this guy is number 3 on the list. Then we move on to the next, number 2. Obviously, we know who's number 2. Yes, Jaden is number 2 with a net worth of negative 435,876. And the richest man on our list is Aiden. His net worth is 3.3 million, or 3,309,660 rands. So this is what we mean by net worth. I'm sure you agree with me. Okay, in future I'll probably make better videos than this, but in terms of teaching finance, I think this is my best video as of today. I'll probably make something better than this in future, but as of today, I'm so happy to have done this. If I was to re-record it, I'll probably do it better than this, but I'm so happy with what I've done, and I hope it's going to help you. Thank you so much. I'll see you. Please subscribe to my channel. That's going to give me motivation to stay up at night and think about what it is that I can do to help you. Well, the reason I'm doing this is what my mentor said. He said, if you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything you want. So my goal is, well, I'm telling you to subscribe. I'm telling you to share. I'm telling you to, turn the notification bell so that when I upload a video, you see it, you watch it, and then you share it, that will help me help enough people. And if I can help enough people out there, then I could have everything that I want. So it's a win-win for me and you, right? You learn, you comment down and you tell me, well, you have helped me in so many ways. This is how you've helped me. And I'm going to be happy about that. But as you watch the video, as you like it, you are also helping me. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you in the next video. I don't know yet what it is, but I'm going to think. You can give me some ideas.